Deadlocks. Hello everyone. Welcome to the third part of locking. In this part, we will discuss about deadlocks. Now, I hope you have gone through previous two videos of locking, in which we have seen that before accessing a data item, a transaction can acquire an exclusive lock or a shared lock. Exclusive lock is granted only once on a data item, whereas shared lock can be granted in incremental order. That is, multiple transactions can acquire shared lock on a single data item. As we have seen that if these two transactions were executed using simple locks without using any protocol, there was error. As you must have done in your copy, you have uh, tried to make out a dry run. But if we convert it in two-phase locking, then there was no problem. Okay. So, however, two-phase locking protocol is not 100% safe. What can happen? There can be deadlocks even in case of two-phase locking protocol. For example, just see here, a transaction acquires exclusive lock on B and it changes B. Now, before it releases the lock on B, what happens? Another transaction came into picture because of CPU scheduling, and it first of all accesses A with the help of shared lock, and it then demands a lock on B. Now, since B is already locked by this goes into waiting. And because of this waiting, this gets chance to execute. Now, this again demands a exclusive lock on A, which is locked by T4. So what happens? These two transactions enters into deadlock. Let me show you this with another example. Select star from test. This is the table. And select star from test. Same table. See, please note that this is a one type of example of deadlock just to illustrate you. There are other types of deadlocks also. Okay. So if I've written delete from test where roll number equals to 8, see, it is deleted. But since it is not committed, what happens? First of all, a lock is acquired on A, roll number 8. Now, if this transaction tries to execute the same query here, now this will also try to acquire lock on this data item. But since it's acquired by this, it will not be allowed, and this will enter into a wait state, as you can see. See now. And now look here, after some time here, not responding will come. So see now, not responding has come. So what has happened? This is one type of example of deadlock. Now, this will remain in deadlock for a specific period of time, after which it may time out. Okay. So now if I type commit here, what it will do, it will release its lock. But since after releasing this data item has gone, so this will automatically move ahead, but nothing will happen here. You can see as soon as I press enter, this moves ahead, but no record is deleted because it is already deleted and committed here. Okay. So this was one type of example of deadlock. So another possibility, another type of problem is starvation. And starvation is something when, as you can remember, that if a transaction is acquiring shared lock and a data item is already in shared lock, it can be granted. So what happens if a transaction requires an exclusive lock on a particular data item which is already held in shared lock, then it will not be granted. But other transaction who are requesting shared lock on the same data item, they will be granted. So what happens? This transaction which is demanding exclusive lock will keep on waiting, and it may keep on rolled back. So what happens? This transaction will be called as starvation. Okay, starvation means it is not granted any type of resource for a longer period of time, again and again and again, so it cannot execute or move ahead. So we need to design our concurrency control manager in such a way so that starvation is avoided. Okay. Now, Since two-phase locking protocol is not free from deadlock, so there are two variations that are used. Number one is strict two-phase locking, in which what happens, you can read and understand very well. Here a transaction must hold all its locks before it is finished. Okay, as we have seen here in this example, here before the transaction was finished, the locks were released. So because it was simple two-phase locking. But in case of strict, it does not happen. When the locks are released only when the transaction is finished, so that any other transaction cannot start in between. Okay. So in a strict two-phase, exclusive locks are held. But sometimes problem can occur because of shared lock also. So another variation of two-phase locking, rigorous two-phase locking is used. So in this case, all types of locks are held until the transaction is committed or aborted. Okay, so this ensures serializability. Okay, now, so lock manager has to deal with all these things. Now, how to handle deadlock? See, deadlock handling can be done in many ways. uh, for the first method is prevention. So what we want that a transaction should not enter into a deadlock. Okay, so there are two three strategies like this. Number one, the first strategy requires that each transaction locks all data item before it begins. So it is called as pre-declaration, which means that it acquires the lock before the first instruction of transaction is. As you can see here again, in this case, the lock was acquired in between. So this is not allowed in case of prevention. What does it say? It says that all the locks are acquired in the beginning. No locks can be granted in the middle. So what will happen? This will prevent other transactions to get a lock on the same data item. Okay. So this is one of the prevention technique. Another is we can place a order on data item. For example, if a transaction require A, B, C, D item, so it can be logged only in this order, like A, then B, then C, then D. It can again prevent some kind of deadlock. Okay. Another two types of strategies of deadlock prevention are wait die and wound wait. Now they are based on timestamp of the transaction. Timestamp means the time at which the transaction was started. It is very simple. Take a copy and write down. See, T1 started first and T2 started afterward. So T1 is older and T2 is younger. Okay. So T1 is older, T2 is younger. So what happens if older transaction may wait for a younger one to release a data item? In case something has happened that because of scheduling, T2 acquired a lock on a data item which is required by T1 again. So T1 will wait for the younger one to release. However, if opposite happens, if younger transaction demands a data item which is locked by a old one, then younger is aborted or it is rolled back. So what happens? The older transaction get a fair chance to execute because they are waiting for a longer time, and younger restarts. Okay. So as you can see, a transaction may die several times before acquiring data item. Another variation of this scheme is wound wait. This is preemptive. Preemptive means where a transaction can kill other transaction. So as you can see, older transaction can wound or forcibly roll back younger transaction instead of waiting. And younger must wait for the older ones. Okay. So in this case, there will be few rollback rather than this scheme. Okay. Now another, there are few other techniques also. There are time-based schemes for where a transaction may wait for a specific amount of time only, and after that time expired, it is rolled back. So deadlocks are not possible. But in this case, starvation is possible. Okay, so there are, you can see there are different strategies, different methods, and a good DBMS must implement them in an optimized manner. Okay. Now there is another technique where you can detect deadlock. It is simply a graph based technique. See, In graph based technique, what happens if